I think just the feeling we got walking through the school. Like, there's no bells and whistles, there's no computer lab, but you can feel the energy and you can feel the joy in the kids in the classrooms. And my husband and I both looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, we found our school.
Our kids were actually attending a public school, elementary school, down the street. We were looking for a more challenging environment for our kids. We didn't know what we were getting into. But literally within the first semester, we were all in.
As a public school educator for so many years, I was a never charter person. And I realize now in hindsight that I had been fed a lot of propaganda about charter schools. And when I started actually researching it, I learned, oh, it's really what is best for the education of each child.
At Great Hearts, we love to form the hearts and minds of students through the pursuit of the true, the good, and the beautiful. Our students are going to read great books, from Frog and Toad in first grade to the Brothers Karamazov in their senior year.
We took a look at that book list and we were sold.
One thing that we had found in our public school experience is that we were constantly monitoring what our children were being assigned to read, and we really loved the book list at Great Hearts because we knew we were confident that they were being presented with material that was incredibly rich and would really trigger their imaginations and their love of learning.
The distinction of Great Hearts, as we saw it at that point, was that it would have the diversity that private schools didn't have, but then also an excellence in curriculum that typically one would not find in a public school.
Our aim is to raise up virtuous young men and women who have a sense of purpose and vision, who are endowed with a sense of destiny that's been shaped by the great conversation, and who are equipped to live it out.
Great Hearts does an incredible job of uniting and marrying the intellectual formation with moral formation.
One of the great things about Great Hearts is that it appeals, instead of what is most base in our human nature, it appeals to what is the highest.
For me, education isn't just about what you're learning in class, that academic-wise. It's the building and forming of character.
They're going to study and pursue those ennobling and lasting things with teachers who are intellectually, morally, and aesthetically alive.
The teachers at Great Hearts set an exemplary example. They go above and beyond in also demonstrating these virtues in their own lives.
There's so much to love about Great Hearts, but it all starts in the classroom. What I love about teaching is being in the classroom with my students.
This is a classical education, and for generations it's only been available at elite private schools. But we seek to make it available to all families, at least to all families who are willing to go on the journey with us.
One thing that we were pleasantly surprised with actually when we got to Great Hearts is that not only is the curriculum itself unifying in that it all coheres, but it also is unifying in that it brings diverse students from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different cultures, and it unifies them through the pursuit of truth and through the reading of excellent material.
All the riches of the liberal arts, those which set their soul free, these are their rightful inheritance, their intellectual inheritance, and we endeavor to give them their initial possession of it.
I was initially drawn to STEM type schools because I thought I love science and technology and engineering and math. What I found out is that most of those schools really aren't STEM. What they are is giving kids a screen, which I don't think the science shows help them learn very well. But Great Hearts is they emphasize science and engineering and math. They give them all those things that actually will make them technology workers. So I think Great Hearts, even though it doesn't advertise itself as STEM, is truly one of the deepest STEM schools that you could go to.
We're going to an elite private school without the $30,000 price tag.
As a professor in a liberal arts college, I had met a few of the graduates from the Arizona schools that came, and they were impressive.
Great Hearts was the best decision we could make for our students' education.
As we continue to grow, we invite you to join us for the journey.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us tonight at this Great Hearts Texas virtual enrollment, open enrollment information night. We love hosting families at our schools and sharing with you all about Great Hearts, but of course, things being a little dodgy at the moment. We're not able to host families on our campuses, but we're really happy to do this online information night as you are considering applying to Great Hearts Academy. We certainly hope that you're interested, and that's why you're joining us this evening. My name is Andrew Ellison. I'm the Executive Director of Great Hearts here in San Antonio, and up in North Texas, a few degrees cooler than it is down here right now in San Antonio. My friend and colleague of many years, Executive Director of Great Hearts North Texas, Mr. David Denton. David, up to you.
This is an exciting season. We're in the middle of open enrollment. We have, in fact, 11 days left until open enrollment closes. That's the season where you can apply to join one of our academies, and you will be placed into a lottery. We conduct a lottery when we have more applicants than we have seats available. But if you miss the open enrollment season, you can still apply. No need to worry. Your name is simply put at the end of the list. And well, I know we have a lot of kindergarten parents joining us tonight, so I want to start by looking at what is a day in the life of a kindergartner like at Great Hearts Academies. So I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Miss Ariel Kinney, who is the lead kindergarten teacher at Great Hearts Lakeside. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Ari, could you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a kindergartner at Great Hearts Lakeside?
Yeah, so kindergarten is such a joyous place to be. You can find the scholars enthusiastically learning while fostering beautiful friendships with their peers and with their teachers. Character development through teacher and social examples and literary tales is very important in kindergarten. We believe in instilling confidence in our students every day so that they believe in themselves and they're able to really engross themselves in our rich curriculum. We have a hands-on approach with math and science, and bringing real-life experiences into the lessons just creates a high level of energy and excitement in our classrooms. They get a chance to express their creativity through our specials with music, PE, art, and Spanish. And it is a beautiful thing to witness a student's love for learning, and that's exactly what you're going to find in a kindergarten classroom at Great Hearts.
Wonderful. And now there's not just one teacher in a kindergarten classroom, but two if we include the assistant teacher.
Correct.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that dynamic is like for you as a teacher?
Yeah, so having two teachers in the kindergarten classroom is phenomenal because it really provides optimal support for all of our students so that they're able to be successful and thrive in the best academic environment for them. The lead teacher is instructing in front of the classroom, while the teacher assistant is walking around to assist our students. And the lead teacher also takes this approach as well when they're not doing direct instruction. But the teacher apprentice just really helps with everyday tasks and helps with parent communication, making sure that our students are safe and healthy, whether they may need to go to the nurse, and just, again, really just supporting the lead teacher in whatever that they may need.
It's great to have a teammate.
Yes, it really is.
Tell me, Ms. Kinney, what is your favorite part of the day?
Well, I have three favorite parts of the day. My first is teaching Spalding. I really enjoy seeing a student have that aha moment and realizing that they can read and using those tools that we've provided to them in the Spalding curriculum. I also enjoy seeing my students just play with their peers at recess, just a 5- and 6-year-old just enjoying themselves and just having a lot of fun. And my final favorite moment of teaching with kindergarten is our snack and read aloud. We read some beautiful stories, and it's just really nice to grow some intimate and personal relationships with the students throughout the day in that time.
That's wonderful. I know that your students are very lucky to have you as a teacher. Well, Ms. Kinney, thank you so much for taking time out of your precious schedule and giving it to us tonight as we're talking to families about joining Great Hearts. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And as a reminder, families, open enrollment runs through December 11th. The lotteries will be held on January 13th with the the following day, we'll have registration on January 14th. Applications submitted after December 11th are placed in the list on a first-come, first-served basis. And now I'd like to introduce Miss Mandy Cannon, headmaster of Great Hearts Lakeside, our first campus in Fort Worth, and a longtime Great Hearts alum, headmaster previously of Monte Vista South in San Antonio. Ms. Cannon came to our network already with years of experience in education, both in the classroom and as a leader of schools. So it's a real honor to have you on the team and have you with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could you talk to us a little bit tonight, Headmaster Cannon, about the lower school curriculum in Great Hearts?
Sure. So our students use Singapore math for math instruction, and Singapore is wonderful because it really starts with, it uses a CPA approach. So we start with the concrete, where students really have the opportunity to use manipulatives, where they can kind of move and be able to really see what's happening, and then they move to the pictorial, and then they actually move to the algorithm, which is a little bit different than the way most of us were taught. We also use Spalding phonics, like Miss Kinney mentioned, which is a very intensive but multi-sensory way that students learn how to break down the English language into single and multi-letter phonograms, and then really build that very easily, bridging it into reading because they know how to break down those words. Of course, our curriculum wouldn't be complete without a study of classic children's literature, which our students engage in some of those lasting classic texts that's filled with rigorous and beautiful language. And all of that's rounded out with a study of poetry, writing, grammar, and then, of course, the specials, art, music, a language, and then physical education, which we believe are part of really helping build a well-developed student.
It's a rigorous program.
Yes.
It's robust.
Definitely.
Tell us about the cultural, behavioral expectations in addition to the academic expectations for the students.
So we really believe it's important to build a very intentional and high culture at the school. And we believe that students are underestimated, not just behaviorally, but also academically. So we teach students that we want them to study the virtues that we have made a part of our everyday at our Great Heart schools and really be able to implement them in their everyday decision making. But we also want our teachers to really model that in their everyday behavior so our students can see this is what a great-hearted teacher and a great-hearted person really looks like.
You know, hearing all of those things, it might sound intimidating to a family to think, I don't know if my student's ready for the academic rigor or the high behavioral expectations. What would you say to a family that's having doubts or reservations for that reason?
We have so many things built into our day to be able to help students be successful at Great Hearts. We do before school tutoring, we have after school tutoring, and we also have a period of time during the day where we can assist students with those core curricular subjects in which they're struggling. We also really want to partner with the parents because we want every student who enters the doors at Great Hearts to ultimately be successful.
Yeah, it really is about intentional love for the student.
Yes.
As a person.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, Headmaster Cannon, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a real pleasure to get to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, well now I'd like to send it back to my friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew Ellison in San Antonio. Mr. Ellison is going to talk about special education, which is a topic that's near and dear to many of our families. Mr. Ellison.
Thank you. Thanks so much, David. And here to talk special education with me is Mrs. Brooke Lucero, coordinator of special student services at Great Hearts Live Oak, our newest school here in the San Antonio area. Brooke is not only a special education coordinator, a former teacher with many years of experience, she was also, she doesn't go around bragging about this, she was 2017 Texas Charter School Association Teacher of the Year. Such a star. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us this evening to talk about special education.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Great. So let's say I'm a parent out there thinking about Great Hearts, and my child has special needs, dyslexic, maybe autistic, on an IEP. Is Great Hearts right for my kid?
Absolutely. The thing about Great Hearts is it is a public school. And so as a public school, we offer a comprehensive student service program, meaning that we have everything from intervention through 504, as well as English language learners,
as well as our special education population. And we also offer all of those lovely related services, such as speech therapy, occupational therapy. So that entire program that you're used to your students getting, or that your students need to access their education, can be provided through Great Hearts.
Oh, good. Yeah, so, the academic expectations are so high at a Great Hearts school, just as we're hearing David and Mandy talk about up in North Texas. Our special kids with special needs, are they going to feel fully included in the environment that's so academically challenging?
Absolutely. And the reason they do that is because of our focus on virtue and honestly the mission statement of Great Hearts, which is truth, goodness, and beauty. When we're talking about truth, goodness, and beauty, we're also talking about realizing those as students. Can students realize when they need help? Can students realize the strengths of other people as well as when they need help? And so we really teach all of our students to recognize this is an area of strength. So this is where I can help my fellow peers. This is an area of weakness. This is where I may need their help. And because of that, it builds this inclusive environment where students really feel a part of it. But also we foster this environment of positivity and inclusiveness that makes everybody feel welcome. And I really feel like that plays into why our students with special needs feel included.
It's a beautiful thing to see for sure. You get to work all day long with kiddos. You get to work with other teachers who spend all day with special kids. Brooke, what do you love most about your job?
What I love most about my job are the teachers that I work with. Great Hearts does a wonderful job of really hiring and fostering a community of coworkers that believe in the same pedagogy of education. We all believe in teaching the whole child. And because of that, our teachers really don't only want to know that they have to do an accommodation or they have to do a modification. They want to know the why. Why am I doing this accommodation? Why am I doing the modification? And how is it helpful for that student? And how is it helpful for me as my classroom? And because of that, again, it just creates this nurturing environment where all students really succeed and broaden their horizons. And that's the best part of my job, is making sure that all students are learning and thriving and making progress.
That's wonderful. Any final words of advice or wisdom for families of kids with special needs?
My biggest advice is ask your questions. So many times, a lot of families become like, well, they do those things, but my child's different. Yeah, every child is different. And that's what makes special education and our student service program so wonderful, is we really focus on the individual child. We don't focus on the label. We don't focus on all children with autism learn this way, or all children learn this way, or they have to be in this classroom. No, we really make a plan for the individual child. And so call your coordinator, call your service providers, talk to someone on the campus about your child's specific needs, because most likely we do that here and we want your child and we believe that Great Hearts is what's right for your child. So that would be my best thing, is open communication, bring your paperwork, also make sure you have your evaluation and your IEP, because most people forget the evaluation. And that's about it, but just have an open line of communication.
And don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Great Hearts is for your kids.
There are no stupid questions, right?
So Brooke, thank you so much for being with us, and thanks for the passion and love that you bring to your job.
Thank you so much.
Special kids.
Yeah, glad to be a part of the Great Hearts.
Wonderful. So to read a statement, we have a parent from San Antonio, Mrs. Inga Cotton. If you're from San Antonio, maybe you know Inga, founder of San Antonio Charter Moms. Inga submitted a statement to us about her experience with Great Hearts Special Education, and we just thank her for her generosity in sharing these words with us. Inga has a son who's in special education at one of our San Antonio schools, and she writes, "At Great Hearts, no one sees my son's autism diagnosis as a limitation. Instead, they see his great potential. My son gets excited about the curriculum, and his teachers work to include him in class discussions." Beautiful words. Thank you so much, Inga, for sharing them with us, and certainly exemplary of how we strive to treat every child here at Great Hearts. welcoming here at the table, along with me now is Mrs. Christine Jaggi, Director of Athenaeum Co-Curricular Programs for Great Hearts, Texas. Christine, welcome. Thanks for being here with us tonight. So tell me about the after-school things that your team provides to Great Hearts.
Absolutely. Well, we have 2 after-school programs, one for our lower school and one for our upper school students. Our lower school program is Athenaeum. This is an enrichment program, specifically not childcare. We have a set schedule every single day for each grade of students. We begin with snack and then homework time, which begins with Spalding dictation, which is our spelling, handwriting, phonogram program.
It's pretty labor intensive to help kids with doing that homework.
Definitely, the most procedurally intensive part of our day. And then after Spalding, they will work on the rest of their homework at their own pace with support from the teachers there. And then we have a lesson and activity every day that falls into a monthly theme. And then after that, the students either will have recess or do some sort of gross motor skill activity that's teacher led, depending on the day. And then about twice a month, we have special visitors that come in, which are definitely a highlight. We've had chefs and sports and musicians and artists and all sorts of things.
Animals we're bringing in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Kikajus have made a regular appearance. And then for our upper school scholars, we have homework club. And this is a time and a place for students to get their homework done, receive some peer tutoring, and socialize in a structured, supervised environment. Both of these programs are a monthly subscription. They run from dismissal until 6 p.m. every day the school is in session, so from August until the end of the school year. And we do offer financial aid for these programs through the free and reduced application. And we have different options. So we have the highest option would be 5 days a week until 6 p.m. And then we have a 3-day-a-week option, and then also a Friday only option to accommodate our early release Fridays.
Releases on Fridays, important to know about. Great.
For an element.
Yeah, so after school, not just childcare. It's enrichment, it's purpose-driven, purposeful time. So what is it that you think that makes your programs special? What's sort of the secret sauce or the magic of Athenaeum?
I think it's a great question. I think there's a lot of things that make it special. I think one is our academics. We are Great Hearts after school program. So our teachers are familiar with Spalding and Singapore and all of those disciplines. Yes, that makes Great Hearts Great Hearts. I think another thing is our community. We have the same students year in and year out. It's a smaller population than the whole school population. So there's really long-term relationships built between the teachers and the students across grades year in and year out. But something I was really reflecting on today as I participated in a seminar where we were discussing classical education, and there's a little excerpt from Christopher Perrin on rediscovering or recovering leisure. And so they talk about skole, this idea of restful learning, which is characterized by discussion and conversation and just reflection among good friends. And that is exactly what we do with our after-school curriculum. We have a curriculum that aligns to the core curriculum of the daytime, but there are no grades, there are no due dates or benchmarks. It's really just this engagement restfully with a Socratic discussion among friends. We increase that sense of wonder and the depth of inquiry for all of our scholars in this restful environment. So I really think that Athenaeum captures just this classical idea of skole that's special.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, right? Most people don't realize that the word school originally in that Greek word that you mentioned, skole, means leisure.
Yes.
Not working. The idea that learning is restful and recharging and satisfying to the soul. So Athenaeum doesn't just do after school programs. You also do a variety of different things in the summertime. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have 3 summer programs. We have Kinder Readiness, which is an exceptional opportunity for incoming kinders to get their feet wet, both in the expectations and the community and the teachers. They wear their uniforms for a half-day program in the summer called Kinder Readiness. For incoming 1st through 5th graders, we have Summer School, where we just focus on Singapore, which is our math program, and Spalding, which is our handwriting and spelling, phonogram, reading program. Correct. And those scholars, it can either be for students who are struggling or new scholars who really want a way to set some of that foundation for those subjects. And then lastly, we have summer camp, which is an all-day opportunity from 7:45 to 6 p.m. for first grade through 5th graders. And that's camp. It's fun. It's all sorts of exciting activities that we do. And this will be held 2 weeks in June, the week of the 7th and the week of the 14th.
Wonderful. So let's say I've just gotten my child into Great Hearts, and say the names come up in the lottery. I want to sign up for after-school programs. What do I do?
You don't have to actively do anything. Anyone who is registered, enrolled, or even waitlisted will be emailed direct links and instructions. February will be our target for summer programs, and then later in the spring for our after-school programs to begin registration.
Wonderful. Can't miss it.
No, you cannot.
All right. Christine, thank you so much for coming in and talking a little bit with us about your programs this evening. Thanks so much. So families, again, as you are putting in, hopefully, your Great Hearts applications right now during open enrollment before December 11th, I don't know if you knew that you can improve your odds of your child getting an offer to enrollment by applying to as many Great Hearts academies as you might be willing to drive to. You don't just have to apply to one school. You can apply to all of them in your town or in your region. If your child receives an offer, you should accept it. Your child is eligible to transfer within Great Hearts after 1 year on a priority transfer process. And don't worry if you don't receive a first round offer in January. Additional offers are made throughout the year, and that's through the spring and into the summer and even into the cusp or even into the coming school year. We heard from David and Mandy up in North Texas about the Great Hearts Lower School program and vision and culture and curriculum. But Great Hearts is a K through 12 program. There's a lower school and there's an upper school consisting of the middle grades and the high school grades. It's truly K-12. And even if you're a kindergarten family, prospective or future kindergarten family, we hope that you are thinking about the whole program just as we are, and not just where your child's going to start at Great Hearts, but where we see your scholar, your son or daughter getting at the end of 13 years of Great Hearts into the 12th grade and into college after that. Joining me now to talk about the Great Hearts Upper School experience is one of our headmasters from San Antonio, Miss Cindy Abdello from Great Hearts Live Oak on the northeast side of town. Welcome, Cindy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
So talk to our families a little bit about the transition. What's different in middle school as our scholars are moving up into 7th and 8th grade in Great Hearts?
Yes, and middle school really is a transition. So these are students who are experience a new sense of autonomy and independence. They're starting to explore things that are meaningful for themselves that they've chosen. And so building on that rich content and those skills that Headmaster Cannon was speaking so eloquently about. So now we're going to take that foundation, that strong foundation, and we're going to create opportunities for our students to exercise that independence and that autonomy in a responsible way that's going to support higher rigor in education. So, things like really mindfully using passing periods and lockers, seeking out tutoring when they struggle with the content or a question in one of their classes, deciding what is the club, what is the athletic activity that I want to be a part of, so I can develop a skill that maybe I have thought about, but I really want to explore it and dive in deeply. So this is middle school, right, where we're really forming the habits that are going to support higher rigor in the high school. And that includes also what we do in the classroom. The classroom experience starts to look very different for a middle school student. They start to take more ownership of the classroom environment, which, of course, appropriately so in the lower school is going to be very teacher driven. And it still is at the middle school, it's a transition, but the students are taking more responsibility for the culture and the way that they treat one another and how they discuss the books, the history, the science. So for instance, a middle schooler, we're going to invite them to stop raising their hand in a discussion.
That must cause chaos.
Occasionally.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful thing.
You're creating a safe way for a student to struggle with a new skill. But the idea here is we're starting to teach them to tune in. What is your colleague saying? And listening intently and looking for your opportunities to ask a meaningful follow-up question, to provide some supporting text or perhaps a counterpoint to what was being said.
It's easy to blurt, but conversing is a learned skill, and that's what we work on in middle school.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about some of the features of the whole upper school, the middle and high school curriculum. What are some things that families are going to see in that curriculum?
It's a beautiful curriculum. It's what drew me as first as a parent, and then as a teacher.
There are 3 great hearts curriculums. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, and what is so special is that we are studying things they're not simply challenging, they're meaningful, they're interesting. It's an inspiring, challenging curriculum.
What does it consist of?
A lot of books,
right? Books, lots of books.
Yes, masterpieces, but not just masterpieces of imaginative literature, but also great philosophical works, terrific historical narratives like Herodotus and Thucydides. We're studying science every single year. We never leave science out, and not just reading about it, but really doing the work of scientists, getting in there, getting into labs and exploring. We're studying dead and beautiful languages.
I was just going to ask you about Latin
and Greek.
Latin and Greek.
That's right. And it's not that we eschew the modern languages. We love them. We study them as well. But we celebrate the study of language, the poetry, the music, the literature. It's all part of what we do.
Every Great Heart student has to take Latin, correct?
Correct.
There's no way around it. So a lot of parents, you might think, I don't know any Latin, I can't help my kid with homework. Consider yourself relieved of that particular responsibility. Kids will be on their own.
That's right.
For that portion. Cindy, talk a little bit here briefly at the end of our conversation time about the kinds of behavioral and cultural expectations that we have for our students in the middle and high school.
Yeah, it's really one of the best parts about being in a Great Hearts Academy. So the content is fascinating and rigorous, but that means that we have to have a certain culture on our school and behaviors that go along with it. We need students who are developing strong self-discipline. They're doing their homework every night. It really matters because it's not just about whether or not they learned the content and practiced it at home or did the reading, but they're walking into a classroom where their engagement and their involvement and their commitment to the learning is necessary for the entire class to function effectively as a whole. And so there's also that my self-discipline, my intellectual and academic habits are part of an enterprise that's even larger than me. And so then, beyond that, then there's the integrity issue. Our students, in order to do the work that they do, to ask difficult, meaningful questions, to be vulnerable and expose in front of your classmates, I don't know something. I'm struggling with this. I'm not actually sure what my answer is. I'm not even sure what my question is. That requires an environment that is built on a foundation of trust and civility and genuine friendship. And so it's called Great Hearts for a reason.
Yeah, when I started off as a teacher many years ago, my first headmaster always used to say something. He used to say, American teenagers, 13, 14-year-olds and above, are capable of an enormous amount of learning and character and creativity. And unless we adults are expecting that of them and giving them those opportunities to do that, they're going to underperform. But when you give kids opportunities to shine and opportunities to excel and strive and struggle, they will rise to the occasion. They will be way better than they themselves even thought that they could. You've seen this. You think it's true. It's right, isn't it?
It's absolutely true. It's that beautiful marriage of doing something that is meaningful and challenging, but doing it in a way that allows us to fully express our humanity. It is a humane education that really resonates in the human heart, and kids love it.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much for joining us, Cindy Arello, Master of Great Hearts Live Oak. Thanks for taking a little time with us here this evening. Speaking about Great Hearts Upper Schools, as we have begun doing something that's really important while we teach PE in the lower schools, as we move into middle and high school, is real competitive athletic programs. And we're going to go back up to North Texas and Mr. David Denton to hear a little bit more about competitive athletics at Great Hearts. David.
Thank you, Andrew. Athletics is indeed a key part of our curriculum and our program. I'm delighted to be joined tonight by the athletic director of Irving Upper School, Mr. Gary Gray. Mr. Gray, thank you for joining me.
Certainly, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, well, let's kick this off. Would you tell us why? Could you expand on this idea that Great Hearts education requires an athletic program?
We look at athletics as a way to complete the student. What I mean by that is we're training the body and the mind, and athletics gives the student the opportunity to develop the body part of that. Okay, the culture of our school, the classical culture of our school, we want to equally give emphasis to those two.
And could you expand on through what sports are we doing? What's our offering?
All of the normal ones, if you would. The cross countries, the tracks and field, basketball, volleyball, football, swimming, golf, baseball, basketball. Actually, we even do some regional things. Here in North Texas, we have rugby teams.
Okay.
We actually have a cricket team in our lower school. Down in South Texas, they've got football. They've got some of the other sports. We try to encompass any of the regional or any of the contributing sports.
Got it. That's great. Yeah, there's room for regional variation.
Indeed.
Whatever's already in the water in that particular community. That's
right.
Well, tell us about the competitiveness of our programs.
We compete in the Texas Charter School Academic and Athletic League, which is a statewide charter school league. We also, some of our longer tenured schools down in South Texas have joined the UIL. We don't just compete, we thrive. We have state championships in a couple of sports, and in every single sport that we are in, we've gone to at least the regional level in every single sport. The coaches that we have are former college athletes, or they're club select type team coaches, or they've been coaching for a long period of time.
Well, that's kind of like you. I mean, I jumped right past the introduction of you, but you're a coach too.
I am.
Coaching since was it Carter or was it Nixon?
Actually, Nixon.
Nixon. Okay. And you're also a founding parent at Great Hearts Irving, and you have two seniors in their first senior class.
That's right.
You're talking about things you know.
The pioneer class of Irving.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
It's the first graduating class.
Well,
and
please go ahead.
Pardon to interrupt, but the culture is something that we focus on greatly. Most of our coaches are either parents, or they're graduates, or they're faculty members of Great Hearts. We try to keep the culture going both on and off the campus.
Well, that's a really that's such an important aspect of a Great Hearts education is its culture. In closing, could you tell us a little bit more about the athletic culture that we're looking to establish in all of our campuses?
Right, and I hate to use the often overused sportsmanship word, but we do take that very seriously. Our Great Hearts teams are widely known in the Charter School League and the UIL as being the most respectful, not only of the opponents, but of the officials. Because we just feel like that culture can be most visibly manifested on the courts, on the courses, and on the fields of competition.
That's excellent. Really appreciative of the work you're doing to form the hearts and minds of all of our athletes. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
I'll send it back to Andrew Ellison in San Antonio now to take a deeper look at a particular piece of our high school curriculum, Humane Letters. Of the many unique cultural and curricular elements of a Great Hearts education, Humane Letters holds an essential place. Andrew?
Yeah, it certainly does, David. Thank you so much. And here with me in San Antonio to talk more about the special thing that is Great Hearts Humane Letters is Mr. Doug McCauley, Master Humane Letters teacher from Great Hearts Monte Vista, our very first Great Hearts Texas campus. Doug, thanks for being with me here today.
Thank you, Andrew.
Really appreciate it. So in order to paint a picture for our viewers of what Humane Letters is, maybe it's best to start with just describing what does that 2-hour class look like? What's going to happen in a typical Humane Letters class?
It is 2 hours, which gives us a long time for the discussion that Humane Letters is oriented towards. So the students come in, and the first thing they do usually is they're working memorizing a poem. So they work on that. They stand up, they recite it from memory. We work on that maybe 5 or 7 minutes. Then we put that away, and they have a quick quiz, 90 or so seconds, just 5 questions, really quick. Make sure you did the reading, got the basics from it. And from there, their attention is directed toward the board where 2 or 3 questions are written down. And those questions are addressing the text that they would have read the previous night, and we begin discussion. That discussion, it is my job, as much as is possible, to stay out of. I try not to intervene. I ask questions. I redirect. I ask for clarification. I do those things. But my job is not to explain the text, explicitly not to explain the text. My job is to get them to engage as fully as they are capable with the text, with the questions that come up from those, from whatever text we're reading, and to carry the conversation themselves.
So 2 hours just on 2 or 3 questions.
Indeed.
And how many pages of reading we're talking about? 15, 20, 25?
Yeah, well, it depends. Aristotle, it might be 10. Literature, Dickens, it might be 30. So somewhere in that range, depending upon we're reading Aquinas right now, 8, max 10.
Yeah, great medieval philosopher, Thomas Aquinas. So you mentioned some great authors so far, Doug. What are, take us through a few of the other, the range of books that our students are going to read at 9th through 12th grade.
Yeah, so ninth grade begins, it's their first experience with humane letters. They've come from Lit Comp, and in Lit Comp, they do discuss, but they've got so many other responsibilities to do grammar and spelling and all those things. So it's really their first day in humane letters is kind of a wake up. They're going to discuss things for up to an hour and a half at a time. They have to build their stamina, and we introduce them with texts that are easier to read. So things like The Great Gatsby, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a wonderful book, perhaps the best book of that year, a delightful read. Things like The Narrative Life of Frederick Douglass, who learns to read.
One of the greatest descriptions of the power of reading that I've ever read.
When learning to read, he realized he was no longer fit for slavery, and he was miserable as a slave. So it's amazing. There's all kinds of texts across that year that we read. They're very accessible, but they're always pulling the student a little out of their comfort zone. Sophomore year, they begin reading longer literature, pieces of literature. Dickens, they read Dostoevsky at the end of the year. They read Crime and Punishment. Yes, and then, but they're also being introduced to philosophy proper. They read Rousseau and they read Locke. They read Rousseau and they read Locke that year. John Locke. Yes, and they struggle, and they're supposed to struggle. And the readings there are shorter, and they look closely at text, and they have to analyze text, and they really have to struggle to come to understand simply what it is that the author said.
I was teaching Locke one year, and a kid asked on about day 2 or day 3, Mr. Ellison, are sentences allowed to be this long? It's hard. It's challenging. It's really something worth it. Take us into some 11th and 12th grade texts.
So 11th grade, the pace really picks up, and 11th grade is dedicated to the Greeks. And what we read there are, I guess, the major works. We have one major work each quarter. And for the first 2 quarters, they read Homer, they read the Iliad, then the Odyssey. Then they read what is perhaps, the juniors, the most impactful book they read, arguably, Plato's Republic. Now, they've read some other dialogues along the way, but Plato's Republic, we get more theses out of Plato's Republic, senior theses.
Big senior projects.
They have to write a 20-page paper. And we get more on Plato's Republic than any other. And then for me, a personal, in college, when I read Nicomachean Ethics, which they read their 4th quarter, again, transformative work. The connection between happiness and virtue and goodness of character that Aristotle makes is really compelling. And the students start to come to a point where they realize, I am only going to be happy to the degree that I'm virtuous. And then senior year, which I'm teaching this year.
You mentioned Thomas
Aquinas. Right now we're reading Thomas Aquinas. Then we're going to read Augustine's Confessions. Then we're going to read the entire Divine Comedy of Dante. And then, we're going to read Shakespeare, I think Hamlet this year. And then we're going on to the final quarter, Dostoevsky's masterpiece, The Brothers Karamazov, which teaching it last year had a profound impact on the students.
Always. Yeah, just to pull something out and emphasize it for the sake of our viewers, you said that our seniors, they write a 20-page senior project or thesis project. Is that an elective or is that for everybody?
That is not an elective. Every student has to write a thesis. Right now I'm working with 3 students, and we're working across the board on these wonderful texts that they've done. They're looking very closely. I meet sometimes weekly with these students, as do the other advisors. It's an amazing project.
Yeah. Those kids, Great Heart seniors, end up doing something really remarkable in their high school education, which most people don't get out of their own college.
I wrote a senior thesis in college, and the senior theses they're writing as high school seniors are better than what I wrote.
Than yours.
Yes, hands down, better than what I wrote as a senior college.
Now, we're talking a lot about challenge. You're talking about college. You mentioned you read Aristotle in college. Great Heart students are reading Aristotle and Plato and Homer in 11th grade. What would you say, Doug, to people who say these books, these texts are just too hard? High school students have no business reading these things.
That's not the case. My experience, I've taught 3 years in 9th grade, I've taught 11th grade, and I've taught 12th grade. They can't read Dostoevsky freshman year, but they can at the end of their sophomore and then at the end of their senior year. We gradually build them up, and they gain the ability and the confidence to do so.
It's a beautiful thing. Doug, thank you so much for coming in and sharing some of your passion and showing Great Hearts families what makes you tick. And really a big thing about what makes Great Hearts tick, humane letters, the beating heart of the Great Hearts High School program. Thanks so much, Doug.
Thank you,
Andrew. So our high school students really do remarkable things. After writing their 20-page senior thesis and reading Dostoevsky and finishing calculus and advanced physics and all those things, they do incredible things as they go off to college. In the year 2020, Great Hearts senior class across the Lone Star State and the Copper State of Arizona had 555 graduates, an average weighted GPA of 4.12. 97% of them went off immediately to college or military. 52% of those students now are pursuing a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics degree. Of our 555 graduating seniors, 75% of them fully were offered some form of merit-based scholarship. Average SAT score, 175 points above the national average. ACT score, 7 points above the national average. And altogether, the members of the class of 2020 were offered more than $44 million in merit-based scholarships. We're certainly proud of them. Their parents are proud of them. And we're happy that they're out in college now representing Great Hearts. To hear a little bit more about the special attention Great Hearts gives to preparing our great-hearted scholars for college applications and college studies, I'm going to bounce back up to North Texas to my colleague David Denton, who has more with our Director of College Counseling for Great Hearts Texas. David.
Andrew, as you may have figured out, all of the Great Hearts upper schools have a college counseling program where we work with students and families to help them find the right collegiate fit for their students. And I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Michelle Fitzgerald, who is the head of college counseling for Great Hearts in Texas. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Could you start by telling us about how the college counseling program works at Great Hearts?
Sure. So something that really sets the college counseling program apart at Great Hearts is our care and concern for every student. As you can see by the statistics of the class of 2020, our students do very well in this process, and they're very prepared. And education is such an important key component, as many of our people looking at this or viewing this tonight are making a big decision of where they're going to send their student. As we fast forward, and it will be here before you know it, we're here to partner with all of our families and Great Hearts students in helping them and walking them through the process. We have one college counselor at every campus, and this allows us to build a relationship with each student, which then turns into individualized college counseling, student-centered, and really helping students meet their post-secondary goals, knowing who they are. We love to learn about our students and really help them through this process. So,
well, and that's and you're right that it is a process. It doesn't just happen in the senior year.
Yeah.
Could you tell us, when do the college counselors begin working with students, and what does the process look like from year to year through high school?
Yeah, so it starts freshman year, and every student and parent has access to their college counselor throughout the whole time that they are at Great Hearts. They can drop in, email questions, or make appointments at any time. With that, we have a robust college counseling program in which we visit classrooms to do classroom presentations. We meet individually, we do group work, we do work with evening programs for parents. So it really encompasses every aspect of that planning. We set the foundation in ninth grade, where we're meeting with our students and preparing them for what they need to know, what's to come. We do learning how to search for a college, how to do how to start a college resume. And so there's a lot of foundational work that happens at Great Hearts, which is really unique for a college counseling program. And then we build on that foundation. And then junior year, we're really honing in and helping students every single step of the way, from starting those applications, filling them out, getting them submitted, getting all the pieces in line, and being successful. And so we absolutely love it. We love to be and watch our kids be successful in the process.
And that's so wonderful, and it's it's we know that going to college is not the ultimate highest end that we aim for with our students. Being a well-formed person is, but this is such a key step in the life of people who are moving on into the professional world. And I guess, is it right to say that as you look at it, it's about finding the right fit for the student? Tell us just a little bit more, I guess, in closing, how our counselors look at that aspect.
Yeah, our philosophy is generally it's about going through the process and getting accepted, but more importantly, thriving. We want to have our students on campuses that they're going to be successful, they're going to thrive, and that really comes down to best fit. And that's all the work that takes place ninth grade on. It just doesn't happen at the end, and that's really what we're looking for. And it's that one piece of getting in, and then it's the whole life ahead of them that we are just as excited about to see them just achieve. And so we love to keep in touch with our alumni. They come back and they see us, and it's just so exciting to see how they evolve and being a part of that and helping families through the process. It's just so joyful.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Michelle.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully by now you've made your decision that it's time to apply for a Great Hearts Academy. And here to talk more with us about that, we go back to Andrew in San Antonio to fill us in on in greater detail what that process looks like. Andrew?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, David. Thanks, Michelle. Applying for Great Hearts is certainly a lot easier than applying for college. Being the parent of a new college freshman myself, I can testify to that firsthand. Ian Nolan is with me right now. He's the Director of Operations for Great Hearts, Texas. Ian, thanks for hanging with us this evening.
Thank you.
So everyone's got questions about open enrollment. How do I apply? When am I going to get in? How likely is it I'm going to get in? You're here tonight to answer any and all questions. You're just going to clear up the mystery here.
We are.
Very shortly. Wonderful. Start with the basics. So open enrollment is open. What are the next steps for parents? How do they apply?
We are open for business, and as you said, couldn't be easier. All you have to do is visit greatheartsamerica.org. As you said, it's open enrollment right now. It takes 5 minutes to apply online. You do not have to have your child's birth certificate, social security card, immunization, and all that on your kitchen counter while you do it.
Federal financial aid?
None of that.
No, nothing.
5 minutes, greatheartsamerica.org, apply. And then we run our lottery on January 13th.
And families can apply to any Great Hearts campus. They can apply to multiple Great Hearts campuses as well.
It actually encourages you to do that. Like you said earlier, you can apply to as many campuses as you want, increases your chances of getting offered a seat in one of our schools. So go ahead and do that. If you're within driving distance to 2 or 3 schools, apply to each of those schools.
Very good. And here in San Antonio, everyone's always 20 minutes away from anything else. How far? 20 minutes. So you can do it. It's manageable. Let's say I just submitted my application right now. What's the timeline? What can I expect? What are the major milestones between now and the beginning of the 2021 school year?
Sure. Yep. So hopefully you just went online, you applied, you're going to hang tight until January 13th. That is when we're going to run our lottery. Starting as soon as the next day, January 14th, a lot of our campuses are going to start making offers to you. You're going to have to check your email, be safe, check your spam, check your junk mail.
Okay.
You're going to get an email either way, whether you have been offered a seat or if you are waitlisted. It's going to tell you that waitlist number, which is going to be very important, right? You're going to want to know, where do I stand on that waitlist? If you get that seat offered to you, accept it. You want to hold your seat. And from there, the campus that has extended you that offer, so if you've applied to Monte Vista North and Live Oak sends you that offer, they're going to be the campus that is going to communicate with you from that point forward about next steps in the registration process. So between now and January 14th, nothing for you to do. Just wait, and then check your email.
Okay, so you said if I get an offer, I need to accept it. What do I have to do? Do I have to call? Do I have to go into the office to accept? What do I do?
Yep, we've made it very easy for you. Just click accept. And that's it.
So right there in the
all
email,
online.
there's a link.
On your phone, on your email, that's it.
And accept.
Yep, sit tight and wait for the campus to let you know what to do.
Great. So let's say I get offered a seat and I've clicked the link and I've accepted it. Then what do I have to do?
Right. So at that point, the campus is going to be the one who is communicating with the family about next steps. So we work very quickly here at Great Hearts to make sure that our families know what's happening for them in the next school year. So you're going to accept that seat, and then you're going to be informed about the registration process. So
bring in some paperwork and things like that.
Yep. So whether it's going to be scheduled an appointment, we're going to have a registration day. Each campus is going to do things a little bit differently. But again, whatever campus has offered you that seat, they are going to send you very detailed emails and let you know exactly what to do, how they're going to gather those documents to make sure that we have fully registered your child and their seat is saved for the first day of school in 2021.
Wonderful. Well, thanks. Any tips or tips or tricks? Excuse me. It's been a long day, Ian. Tips or tricks for increasing my odds of getting my child into a Great Hearts?
Yeah. The only trick that we could offer is that you apply during the open enrollment process. So again, that is before December 11th. I want to make it clear, you can still apply after December 11th. At any time, you can still apply. But to be lottery eligible, to make sure that your child's application is in the lottery, you need to apply by December 11th. If you apply after that, your child's application is going to get tacked on in order for all those families.
Every other single application was in round one. So
if you haven't done so already, do it now by December 11th.
But if I, for example, if I do it tomorrow as opposed to doing it right now, that doesn't decrease or increase my odds, right? It's just any time during open enrollment.
Common Great Heart myth. It doesn't matter when you apply during open enrollment, as long as you get it in during the window.
So if I got up, stroke of midnight to do it on the very first day of open enrollment, that doesn't increase my odds at all. It just
Not whatsoever.
puts me. And if I like to play chicken, if I want to wait until like 11:52 p.m. on the last day,
that's okay.
If I'm a then yes. Just an equal chance of getting pulled in the lottery.
100%.
Okay. Good. Well, Ian, thank you so much. I know folks have a lot of questions.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you coming on to talk about some of the basics. So, one question families ask often is, what happens if instead of getting an offer in January, I get a wait list number? How long will I have to wait until my child gets an offer, moves up on the wait list? So we can't tell you. We don't know how long it'll take. It depends on how high or low the wait list number is. You could have a wait list number of 3 and be waiting for months. You could get a wait list number of 43 and get an offer within just a couple of weeks or something like that. There's no way that we can really predict or guarantee. Classes open up as a result, spots open up as a result of maybe sometimes families declining offers or students withdrawing from the school over the spring or even to the summertime. Great Hearts keeps making offers. Their school will keep making offers, moving up that wait list. churning through it, chugging through, making offers to every family as soon as a seat becomes available, working through an order. That can happen through the summer. That can happen right up to the first day of school. That even happens after the first day of school. So if school has started in August 2021, don't give up hope if you're still on the wait list, because offers can come, and they can come. They can come as, we have new students starting in Grey Heart schools right now. Just the other day, my kids came home and talked with a new child who had just entered a class. So we extend offers to the next application as soon as the space becomes available. So speaking of new spaces and Great Hearts and applications and new seats, we got something brand new happening in Great Hearts right now in Great Hearts, Texas. Great Hearts is starting its first 100% online school, Great Hearts Online. And with me here tonight is Executive Director of Great Hearts Online Learning, Mr. Curtis Indorf. Curtis, thanks for staying late with us here on a Tuesday night to talk GHO. Right.
Good evening, everybody.
Tell families the basics. What do they need to know about the Great Hearts Online option?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. So Great Hearts Online is a 100% virtual classical academy. We are opening our doors this year, January 4th, serving students kindergarten through 6th grade. We already have families signed up from across all of Texas, from all major cities, from the far, from East Texas, from West Texas, from the coastline. We are a Great Hearts Online school, a classical public charter school.
So yeah, there are tens of millions of families living in places in Texas where there is no Great Hearts school physically. Yeah. But now there is. There's a Great Hearts Online Academy for all Texans. That's right. It's really a remarkable thing. But this is different from what's happening at a lot of most public schools in Texas right now, where brick and mortar in-person schools are in operation, and families who are enrolled in that school can stay at home for distance learning. This is different from that, right, Curtis?
Yeah, that is correct. So all of our schools across Texas and across Arizona, families can choose to attend distance learning. This is different than that. We are building upon that work and effort of 36 schools to provide high quality online education. And we are seeking to create a best-in-class online school. Many online schools across the country, students attend and they feel lonely, or the learning feels procedural, or it feels like I'm checking off boxes. We want to create a humane, human, conceptual school that is 100% committed to the Great Hearts curriculum. If you are looking for remote access to a classical liberal arts institution, come to Great Hearts Online. If you are looking for a robust school community, both online and as we move on in person as well, online and in-person communities, come to Great Hearts Online. If you want a closer parenting experience, you want to be more involved in the work that your kids are doing on a day-to-day basis, come to Great Hearts Online. And if you want time and place flexibility, if you're considering moving from San Antonio to Lubbock, come to Great Hearts Online to provide continuity and great education for your kid. We are hiring, this is really exciting, Andrew, for us. We are hiring amazing former Great Hearts teachers who now live in multiple states across the United States.
It's the farthest away Great Hearts Online teacher is going to be living from.
So far, we have Alabama, Wyoming, Colorado, so all kind of central time zone, Arizona time zone, mountain time zone. Yeah. But as time goes on, I know there are folks in Pennsylvania who are really committed, who have been with Great Hearts for 10 years previously, but moved away to be closer to family. They want to be your teacher next year.
These are some of our best classroom teachers from Great Hearts who got great in the classroom, who now want to take their craft and serve Texans in a 100% virtual school. That's right. It really is certainly something quite new. And this just to be clear, this is not just for current Great Hearts students. In fact, Great Hearts Online is aimed at students, families who are not currently enrolled in class.
That's right. So any student in Texas can apply kindergarten through 6th grade. And we are going to serve our first students on Monday, January 4th.
That's very soon. Are you sure you have time to be here talking about this?
I'm confident that we've started our teacher onboarding yesterday. It's been so phenomenal to meet these amazing educators and to get to know their passion for your children and for the craft and for the content they'll be teaching. It's truly been a pleasure.
It's a real pioneering endeavor, doing something brand new here.
Absolutely.
Still accepting student applications, Curtis?
We are. We
Okay.
are. We have about 500 students who have already accepted seats. Please apply now. We are excited to get to know you, to build a partnership, and we hope you join us on this journey.
Brand new school, Great Hearts Online in Texas. Thank you so much, Curtis Endorf, Executive Director of Great Hearts Online Education. So to submit an application, go to greatheartsamerica.org. That's going to wrap things up for me here in the Alamo City of San Antonio. Thanks everyone, no matter where you are in Texas, for joining us at this Facebook Live virtual information night for open enrollment. So glad you could be with us here. I'm going to pass it back up to my friend David Denton in North Texas one last time to close it out and take us home. David.
Thank you, Andrew. And I echo your gratitude to all the families who took time out of their busy schedules to be with us tonight. We hope that you were able to take away a good, clear picture of our enrollment process, but also that you found our vision for classical education, at least the snippet that we were able to offer, to be compelling. So don't forget, December 11th, that's when open enrollment concludes, and we will have our lottery on January 13th, followed by registration on January 14th. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.